Hey everyone, this is the Duchess of Unicorn YouTube channel, and thank you for stopping in today again. I hope you have been here before, and I know it's been a minute since I have been on and recording about the Duchess of Sussex and Prince Harry's wonderful life, but that's because I've been so damn annoyed with their whole thing. Like, you guys, is this what you wanted? People to be so discouraged with you and so non-interested? Like, was that your objective, to have people become uninterested in you completely so that you could just do whatever? Because I was feeling for the entire week as I watched the news on my browser, of course, and I always kept checking each day, just seeing, Googling Meghan's name and Harry's name and seeing if anything else is really different or unusual. And it's not unusual for Meghan's behavior to be a keynote speaker and being paid for a gig as a keynote speaker. It's like selling yourself out. Not that I'm sure she got paid quite a bit of money, but what I'm saying for Prince Harry, if this was just Meghan alone, nobody would care. It wouldn't matter. And I'm not even so sure she would be a keynote speaker. But since it involves Prince Harry, people still chime in and are curious how she pulls this off, and also kind of curious about Prince Harry. And in this photo that we're looking at, the Guardian, you see Prince Harry looking away, and of course Meghan is waving with her sweaty armpits showing, and that's really interesting. So it says a lot. Let's look at that for a second, that Meghan is shown sweating, and it's not in the summer, it's winter. And so she's sweating and she has this turtleneck on, and it seems like there's a lot of pressure. And this is after she left the royal family. So it seems like her body is letting the world know that she's nervous. But why are you really nervous? This is not new to you. But it's really very interesting, isn't it? That right there, to me, it shows a little window into what is going on, and that's only my opinion, and I may be feeding on that because I can see in this photo Prince Harry is kind of looking away. Like, come on, Prince Harry seems like he's looking down and away from the camera, and he looks like a little bit lost too. If I want to say, he doesn't look confident and secure, and she looks like hi, very like I feel awkward. I feel like I'm unsure too. So clearly, I think something's going on that's bigger than any of us know. My mind, again, if you've watched my videos, my mind wanders and my opinions start to bloom, and I'm thinking that, all these conspiracy theories about the reptilians and how scary the queen can be. Like, there's a video out there that Putin once saw the queen shapeshift and all this other stuff. And so when you start looking at the conspiracy theories and videos, and Google those on YouTube, you'll see a bunch of them. Search them on YouTube, rather. And you start to think a lot of things like, is Meghan scared? Like, she literally took off from England, from Britain. She left. She completely got away. And she did it in such a way that it was like, it seems abrupt, like, I can't take anymore, or someone who's frightened, right? Someone who can't deal, someone who's scared. She completely ran, and she jetted to supposedly Canada, which then they show a picture of her getting on a seaplane, and you're thinking, where the hell are you? Like, did you landed on an island, so now you have to seaplane yourself over because you don't want to take the ferry like everybody else, which is weird to me that you wouldn't take the ferry. And where is your kid? Like, you don't have a nanny behind you dragging your kid around. Like, where is your kid? Every time we see you, your kid is nowhere to be found, except the one time when she was, quote unquote, walking her dogs in the park with security behind her. Like, why is security behind you? Like, if why aren't they at the side of you, or why aren't they, some of them are ahead and some of, it just seemed like that was kind of planned as well. But this particular Guardian photo on theguardian.com, Harry and Meghan attend exclusive JP Morgan event in Miami. Right there, it's just like, ew. Like, Prince Harry, just be a prince. Just do prince stuff. Like, be Prince Harry. Be traveling and doing exciting things, not being a keynote speaker like, oh, I'm part of the Toastmasters. Like, how low can you make yourself be that makes you feel like distance between being a royal and now you can feel like how commoners feel? Like, you'll never really be like a commoner. And Meghan actually, to me as a wife, making your husband, like allowing, like saying, this is cool if you want to act like a commoner. This is, go ahead and do that. Like, yeah, you can say that, but why would you want your prince husband to become a commoner? So I just feel like this picture speaks volumes, and that's why I want to start here. And so they were keynote speakers at this JP Morgan investment gig. And the fact that they were keynote speakers, I'm thinking, ugh. First of all, he's a prince. So he was born with money in his wallet. I don't understand how that makes you worthy of being a keynote speaker. I don't get the correlation, because to me, that's not like the average guy who was, like, for instance, Alex Rodriguez. And they say in this article that, I don't know if it's this article, but that public relations experts. Anyway, that it was another article that said that Bill Gates and other billionaires attend this meeting. They have attended this meeting, and Alex Rodriguez is a high roller. And I'm thinking, like, yeah, Alex Rodriguez, I could get him being a keynote speaker, or this being on that wavelength, because he was raised in Puerto Rico as a poor kid, playing baseball. And I could see now he's a multimillionaire, if not billionaire, after a long career from being a young boy back in Puerto Rico playing in dirt and grass fields, baseball, to being found, discovered, and then put on the New York teams. So I'm just like, okay, to me, it doesn't make sense to me. But I just read a little bit of this article. An unnamed source told the New York Post, page 6, which first reported the story, the couple headlined JP Morgan's Alternative Investment Summit. It was all very hush-hush with a lot of security, the source said. Meghan was introduced by CBS News host Gayle King before she opened the floor to her husband at one hotel in South Beach, page 6 reported. And I want to stop right there and interject my opinion. Like, they had Meghan open. It's like they wouldn't do it unless Meghan could open. Like, that's important to her. It all points back to her. It's important to her that she opens, or that she speaks, and that she gets paid and she's there. Like, you could see it being Prince Harry, because he's a prince. And even then, after that, I would question, besides being a prince, he has businesses. But his businesses are probably never made to fail, because he has a numerous amounts of money to cover him, or people that would invest in him, because he's a prince. Like, oh yeah, like, it's not like borrowing money from your friend down the street. Hey, can I borrow? Your friend comes to you and says, can I borrow, $100? And you're like, because you're a working class guy person, and you're like, I don't know, $100, geez, that's a lot off the top of my cake here. Okay, when will I get it back? You start to ask questions, because you want to make sure that you can get that back so that you don't have financial problems, right? But Prince Harry, if he is, asking, he has a business and his business is tanking, his investments aren't doing well. There's going to be somebody that he can pick up the phone and call and say, look, my business is not doing good this quarter or whatever. Is there something that I can move? Some money, some, other things that I can move, some horses, some diamonds. Can we liquefy down some other company and get some assets out of that? There's things can we call my good friend who's the ambassador to, a small country in Africa? Can we do that? Hey, I have companies in Africa. How about I just take some handful of diamonds and sell them? And, there's a difference between him and the average person, like, say, Alex Rodriguez, who is still, a baseball superstar, a legend. How he can be there and be a keynote speaker that I can get. He's raised from being a very poor kid to a billionaire. That's a story for a keynote speaker. But a prince and an investment summit? Okay. All right. Anyway, so I find that a little bit odd, but I could see Meghan, she could be more suitable for that alone. Why she has to have Prince Harry, I don't know. But again, they probably don't want her without Prince Harry, whatever. But Meghan was raised not dirt poor, but she was raised as an average, everyday person doing average, everyday things. So I could see her being, that she's a millionaire, multimillionaire today, outside of marrying Prince Harry. I could see that. I could see that as a speaker. But outside of that, I couldn't say what the hell she has to do with the price of tea in China. The Mirror has reported that the event could have earned the couple $400,000, according to public relation experts. Now imagine doing speeches at $400,000 a pop, maybe even more or less, still around that figure, $250,000 to $400,000 a pop. That's critical crazy. Like, they could just do one a year, and for some of us, doing one a year would sit us back all day and we'd be fine, right? Or maybe doing a handful, 3, But what if they did speaking engagements and got paid, anywhere from $100,000 to $400,000? That means they're getting $200,000 each. They're getting $200,000 each, and maybe that's why they want to do them together, because they get paid more together. So $200,000 each. But imagine with you and your husband, or you and your couple, your other significant other, doing speeches, 10-minute speeches, 15-minute speeches, whatever it is, and getting a check cut to you for $400,000. And you could have access to do that. If there's 12 months in the year, you did that 5 months out of the year. Just think about that. 4, 8, 16. You're in the deep, you're almost $500 million probably, or $250 million later, or $250,000 later. You're definitely going to be a billionaire in that terms. And that's fine, because that's nothing wrong with that, but we have to still look at the avenue which Meghan took to get her wealth increased, and it had to be through Prince Harry. And that's what's really, really sad, that her cunningness was able to create a wealth for herself from somebody else's back. Let's see. Okay, so I'm not going to read the rest of the article. And the last thing I want to say, when I'm going to this photo, I'm noticing. But if you go back, every photo that's on my internet that's showing on my browser shows all old photos. So when I say old photos, I mean photos that already have been broadcast on news, TV, and in articles from the past, from this past year and prior. So it's clear that Meghan is not, for some reason, allowing, or somebody is not allowing, any new photos of Meghan Markle. I don't know if that's because the newspapers don't want to get sued. Like, they're not showing, like, if she went to the JP Morgan alternative investment and was a keynote speaker, there's no publicized photos of that. Think about it. So we find that really, really interesting how there's no publicized photos of Meghan and Harry doing something, right now. And that's my question at the end of this video is, why aren't there any new photos being publicized of them? Like, no, all these articles wrote about them, but nobody has posted a photo of seeing them at this Miami Beach keynote as a keynote speaker, going into the building or coming out of the building or off the plane or driving in the car or getting out of the car. Not one. So if you've seen one, please let me know, post a link in comments, because I'd like to see the latest photos of them. But I wonder, again, my mind wanders, is why there's no photos, what the reason is. So for me, we know that Meghan and Harry are suing these publications back in their own country. And even Canada, they had some problem with them taking pictures of them. So now they're in America and there's no photos of them. Like, none of these TMZ people or anybody, People magazine, who's always seems to be reporting on Meghan, doesn't have any current photos of them and that are being posted is kind of interesting to me. Not so much what the articles are saying, but the fact that we're not seeing any new photos of the two of them, Prince Harry or Meghan. Why is that? What's going on? Is it because none of the news, the news channels or any of these articles want to put to print any of their photos because they're in fear of being sued? Because Meghan and Harry insist that they do not want to have their photos taken for privacy? But you're at a public place. You're at a hotel, entering a hotel. If I snapped a picture of you, I was there. It's directly from me. Why can't I use it? I'm just not sure when that happened, because why in the world do all these artists and all these people, diplomats, congressmen, I know people in the government are public servants, but also the same thing goes with Prince Harry, I thought, as being a monarch. I thought that it is a type of public service. So why can't we have their photos? And so in my country, on my browser, I'm not seeing one current photo. All these photos are old, regurgitated photos from past articles and events that I have seen and heard in the news, online, and on television. So I'm not sure what the deal is. Is Meghan prohibiting any photos of her being taken? I just don't get that. And or who controls all the magazines? Was there a memo that went out and said nobody can take any photos of them, any current photos, or put any current photos out? Is it something the Queen did? Like, I'd love to know. But on my browser today, Saturday the 7th, I think, there are no photos of anything that they've done. Everything are regurgitated old photos, which makes me all the more interested as to how that can be. How come not one news outlet or one publication online has any new current photos of these two? Everything is old photos from the past 2 years. It's amazing, and it makes me wonder why. All right. Well, thank you so much for stopping into the channel today, and I hope that you're doing well and things are good. Again, I also wanted to include a story about Gwyneth Paltrow and a couple of comparisons between her and I think Meghan that she aspired to be. But I'm not going to do that here because I went way over time. It's 19 minutes and 7 seconds. So I will say adieu and thank you again for stopping in, and I'll see you in the next video.